welcome back. It's Movie Dungeon.
Hey guys.
Hi.
We watched Midsommar.
What's happening?
I don't know why you invited us.
That's why you look so guilty right now, because you know.
We only do this every 90 years.
So, Midsommar. It's the next film from...
Ari Aster.
Director of Hereditary.
Which, was a favourite film of ours.
It was the film that I liked but would have changed a little bit.
It's the film that I enjoyed watching, but probably will never watch again.
Right. No, I think I'd watch it again. But anyway, so the Midsommar, next film from Ari Aster.
Still a horror film. Most definitely a horror film.
Wow, okay. So I'm going to go straight in. Watching this movie, I don't think it's a horror film.
Really?
I wouldn't class this as a horror movie.
Okay.
Okay.
Go. Why?
I kind of... so I'm going to begin with, I fucking loved it. I thought it was amazing. I really, really enjoyed
I agree.
it.
I really liked it too.
I would go as far as to say it's a masterpiece. I think it's... I think it is so good.
Wow. Well, review over. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. But Tom, what is Midsommar all about?
We're good at this.
Okay, so it follows the story of there's sort of a kind of troubled couple. They're going through like relationship difficulties. There's a pretty grisly event that happens very near the beginning. Cuts to they are going with a friend of theirs and a bunch of other friends. They now go to the like Midsommar Festival, which is somewhere in really isolated Sweden. And
one of their friends belongs to like a small village, and he takes them back to meet his friends to celebrate this
A
festival.
commune.
Yeah.
You might say, yes.
And they turn up, and it's all a bit weird, a bit wacky.
Yeah.
They don't live conventional lives, and then it sort of just kind of spirals out of control from there.
Yeah. It's very intense. It's intense enough that us three went to a 10 p.m. screening on the first day that came out yesterday. Oh, late night screening. We brought my girlfriend Gemma along, and within the first 15 minutes, she had a panic attack and had to leave. And it's a good thing she did, because it only got way more intense after that.
Yeah.
A lot of gore, a lot of emotional impact with the gore.
Yeah.
But so maybe it is a horror film, but I don't think of it as
You convinced me.
a horror movie. I feel like because it breaks all of the sort of existing tropes on what
I
I'm
don't
expecting.
think it does.
But I mean, like,
Of today's modern horror.
yeah, like
Okay.
it is set entirely in daytime.
Yeah.
It is. Every scene is bright. It's beautiful landscapes, but nice buildings.
To me,
everyone's dressed.
it's more that it's back to what I consider the kinds of horror films that I love. Wicker Man, Don't Look Now, these kinds of movies, which are in daytime, and it's no jump scares. It's just the atmosphere, the characters, the creepiness that's going on. Because this film, while there are scary bits, there might be like one jump scare.
I'm trying to think where the jump scare is.
I don't want to spoil
Without
anything.
spoilers.
It's the one dark bit. She lights a candle and someone's behind it. It's in the trailer.
Oh, right, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, apart from that, there's no jump scares. It's all mood and weird imagery, and
It's quite an old-fashioned folk horror
I'd say
film.
so.
Yeah, I guess like more like that. I think like I'm just so used to watching just fucking terrible,
Yeah.
like things like
desaturated grey, green.
yeah, I
Pee
think
pee poo poo man.
the pee pee poo poo man, just like The Nun, or I don't
Insidious.
know, the Spooky Kid, just any of these fucking films.
Oh, was it Boy?
This is our son, Ross.
I love The Boy.
The Porcelain Doll.
I love that film.
Really?
I love that film.
Me and him went to the cinema and both hated it.
I love that
both
film.
thought it was pretty
Really?
I'm
bad.
so sorry.
my God.
Oh.
But that's for another time.
Yeah.
But I loved it. If you had have asked me this question 12 hours ago,
Yeah.
maybe, I think straight after, the moment I'd walked out of it, I would have said something different.
Really?
Okay, so I'd say more. I went into it expecting Hereditary,
Okay.
Okay.
and that whole movie, I felt like it was building up, building up, building up, and then it ends. And although something happens, it was not the level of Hereditary where it went off the fucking wall. And I was waiting for it just to go
End of the world.
Right.
absolutely
Something.
insane. And when that didn't happen,
Yeah.
and
Bit
it
of a
when
letdown.
the moment that it ends, I came out and was just like, and I was loving it all the way up until then. I did feel some parts did get a little bit slow,
Yeah.
but it really held my attention and was like, oh, that's it. I wanted the ridiculous end that Hereditary has. Woman sawing her head off, flying corpses, not
I
Spider-Woman.
was so glad it didn't do
Spider-Woman's
that.
good.
That was the thing. Again, this is Hereditary spoilers, but that's the thing. When I said I would have changed, I would have taken out the floaty flying bits of Hereditary because that put me off. That took me
The
out of it.
unrealistic bits.
Yeah.
Because in Midsommar, there's nothing supernatural. There's nothing
No.
crazy.
Although-
there's nothing that
No.
not possible. It all is just normal human things happening.
There's one shot in the trailer where her feet lift off the ground. Was that in the
Was
movie?
that? Yeah. So I rewatched the trailer. Was that in the film?
I think what happened was they had floaty stuff in the movie. They saw Movie Dungeon, decided to cut it out because he
God,
realised that he
right.
didn't want to.
So also, is the scene where the feet come off the ground? Is that in the dark?
It's quite dark, yeah.
Because maybe that's in like a dream sequence or something that got ditched.
Maybe.
Because the only dark bits were either the beginning or like in the sort of dreamier moments.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, because like rewatching the trailer was like, I don't remember that, but I did go and pee at one point in the movie. So
yeah.
was there suddenly just everyone started flying for like a minute, and I came
seconds.
back and
Yeah.
they're
You
like,
sit
oh,
back
he's back,
there.
and
Yeah.
everyone's
Tom,
like,
you missed all the floaty bits
oh
when
my
they
God.
fly around.
Superman was there.
Yeah.
Jeez. But I loved it. I feel like I can't go any further without
Yeah.
moving into the
Okay.
spoiler zone. So what are your guys' thoughts?
It was great. I loved the tension between the friends and the girlfriend, Danny, and I really enjoyed her emotional story arc
She was
because that is incredibly well done.
Yeah.
she was so good in that. What's her name? Pugh.
Florence Pugh.
Florence
Oh,
Pugh.
okay, right.
I thought she was just
Great.
Fucking
I thought
had me.
all
I
the
was-
performances were like fantastic. There wasn't one, even the funny Swedish. Oh, hey, welcome. How you doing? I was still into it. I was like, you guys are great.
but like they're kind of weird cultists.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
not
right.
Cultists, commune.
They're cultists.
Super good
cultists.
friends. They just
and-
really like each other.
Yeah, so this definitely isn't spoilers, but every time people hugged, they always did the exact same hug,
What, the
which
head
was
embrace?
like. Well, it's like one hand on the back of the head
Isn't
and
that
one on the
weird?
base of the back.
Isn't
It was
that
like
weird?
everyone
It's so
hugs in the
intense.
exact same way.
Although
like,
I actually feel this deeper
I
connection
really,
with Tom
yeah,
Bates now.
yeah. I had a real stillness that came over
Wow.
me when we did that.
I just wanted to go,
okay, yeah. But yeah, everyone was really good.
Yeah.
What's the name of the fucking dude with the angry eyebrows?
Fuck. What's his name?
the annoying friend, Will Poulter.
Will Poulter. That's it. Yeah.
I
He
like
plays
this,
Mark.
his face. I find him. He just pulls me out of it because I just see him.
But he was almost the comic relief in this, wasn't he? He was like
Yeah.
the funny guy.
The annoying guy.
I was surprised by how much I laughed in this film as well.
That again, yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of, one of my things afterwards was, I was wondering was, is it supposed to be funny? Did they mean it to be funny? And
Definitely.
And I looked, I heard an interview with Ari Aster. He was like, I see the whole thing as a dark comedy. He was like, I watch the end, and every time I see the end, it's so ridiculous I laugh.
So I was trying not to laugh in the very final scene.
Man,
I was just sat there, just
let's save that
shaking
because
with
I've got some
laughter.
things to say, but let's not talk about the last scene. Maybe
I didn't find that
because I have
funny.
the exact opposite. So
Wow.
that'll be interesting to talk about.
Okay.
So your opinion is great.
Yeah, solid movie. It's quite a simple story, told pretty well, with very, very well used violence in it.
Yeah.
The
Really sparing.
everything has an impact.
Ooh.
Very good.
so to speak. Oh boy.
Bam, and Tom.
So I've been working on this my little line, right? Okay.
Oh my god, prepare.
So this
prepare
is
for
my
the-
prepared line.
The monologue.
Okay.
No, not monologue. This is a single line.
Soundbite.
Oh my god.
What I came away from this was Wes Anderson's The Wicker Man. That's what I felt about it.
Okay,
right?
I like that.
So the first shot of the movie is it starts on like a almost like a, would you say tableau, like a painted thing.
Fuck, it literally is.
And it
Okay,
splits,
now
yeah.
I think about this.
There's a
That
lot
is the
of flats.
perfect way to describe this movie. Wes Anderson's
yeah.
Wicker Man is.
Because it starts with this tableau of like images pulling apart like a curtain, and you hear the wood pulling as if it's like a storybook kind of opening, and so much of the humour comes from the awkwardness, the pauses, the way people deliver lines.
Yeah.
A lot of flat framing, 2D stuff, geometric shapes.
Centralised.
Yeah.
100%, I can totally see this. There's lots and lots of shots of a weird piece of artwork
Yeah.
that you look at and you're like, what the hell? And then it like cuts out and you just have someone sat in a chair looking at this one little piece of someone cutting their pubes off.
The Princess and the Bear. The girl wearing a crown with a bear.
But yeah, like I thought this movie was a masterpiece. There wasn't anything that I would change, like nothing. I was just like into it the whole time. I was just, and it didn't have that thing that you said where I was waiting for the build. To me, by the end, I was just like, what's happened? I felt like I've been on the trip, on the journey with them, and like just felt so drained. But as a piece of horror, the horror that I love, Don't Look Now, Wicker Man, these kinds of slow burns, character
the
stuff,
impending peril.
would 100% recommend.
Yeah, definitely. I would super recommend this movie. If you liked Hereditary, definitely watch it. If you didn't like Hereditary, definitely watch it. It's different enough.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
But if
Just
you
watch
have
it.
a sensitive disposition, maybe give it a miss because
Yeah.
it's very intense.
But come the end, it was quite uplifting. I felt
Yeah,
at the
I
end.
guess, yeah.
Honestly,
I felt pretty good.
it's funny. There's cute moments. There's weird stuff. It just had it all. Pal, so should we move into spoiler zone?
Yeah.
Big flashing
Spoiler.
You're going to
yeah.
edit that in.
I'll add that in.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I came out, we made it to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And
Oh, we made it. Somehow.
about halfway through the movie, I suddenly had this dreading feeling
Yeah.
that it was just going to turn into The Wicker Man. And was really worried it's going to end with the girl and everyone else is going to get burnt or everyone else is going to be killed.
Right.
And there's going to be a fire. They're going to be in the fire. And it's the moment where there's the Swedish guy and he's like, your boyfriend does not respect you. You need family around you. You don't have a family.
I used to have a family, but they burned.
Yeah, rip your family. Like, you are much better off here. Look at what we can offer you.
We can be your family.
And the whole movie has been showing how she doesn't have that and being presented this thing, even though it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Straight away was just like, she's going to join them. Everyone else is going to die. She's going to be fine with that. Please don't just end with the Wicker Man. I want there to be a fucking goat demon coming out of
Baphomet
like a
just appears.
pool of like bloody runes or something. I want something ape shit.
Supernatural.
I kind of want something supernatural.
Like a giant techno Viking appears and just dances.
Anything, just something really wild. And when it makes it to the end, and it ends with Wicker Man,
Right.
Right.
and I walked out, I was like, this wasn't Hereditary.
Right.
That's what I wanted.
Okay.
A few hours rolled by, and then I was just thinking like, wait, I need to watch this movie again. Because now that I know what the ending is, I now absolutely love it. I now think it is perfect. I think I just was so obsessed with, I want that Hereditary.
You were just waiting for it to happen.
Absolute bonkers. Because we had disagreed on the end of Hereditary.
Yeah.
I loved how weird it gets.
So it's absurd. It
I like it.
transcends.
And
It goes too far, really.
For me, yeah.
I wanted that. I wanted it to go just insane. And
Like the short from the Raid director that's in VHS 2 about
that
the
is
cults.
exactly what I wanted.
That's got a goat demon that appears.
I have to watch that. I haven't seen it.
But then mind is changed, and
Yeah.
actually, I think I prefer this to Hereditary.
Oh, I do as well. 100%. Like, Hereditary's great, but this, for me, is like, the epitome of what horror film should be.
It's a lot more fun, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
it. Like the amount of scenes where you are awkwardly laughing, and that is 5 minutes past. You are sat there just horror, like
Yeah.
some of the violence, some of the stuff, but it didn't feel like tonally it was all over the place.
No.
It all kind of
And you were saying about like Hereditary and how intense that was. I thought it was going to be like that at the beginning when she's doing the almost exact same scream that she does from Hereditary, where she's just inconsolably screaming from her gut, and her boyfriend in this case is just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. I will just
holy
sit here.
shit.
There are those moments where there's just this primal grief
Yeah,
just comes out.
yeah. But then that opposite at the end of the film where she's surrounded by those girls who are all screaming with her, it's like,
That's more ecstasy than...
is pretty wild moment.
yeah. But that's the moment where it's like she's got people to share the grief with her, you know, to share all her feelings. Because that's what that whole cult was about, wasn't it? Whenever someone's in pain, they all pretend to be in pain. Whenever they're having sex.
Yeah.
The sexy
the
scene.
sex scene.
So the sex scene
Oh, yeah.
was so fucking good. It was
it's
so
hilarious,
funny.
yeah.
Where
Oh, boy.
he goes into the room, like the girl is lying there on like a bed of flowers, quite
Yeah.
like seductively.
Very
It was
seductively,
like,
yeah.
you know, she's like pretty cute.
Quite demure. She's not just...
Just
You know.
spread and they
No.
that whole scene.
Very tasteful, very painterly.
yeah, like it did look like, you know, sort of like a Renaissance art.
Yeah, yeah.
Klimt. Gustav Klimt.
Gustav Klimt.
Yeah.
And then there's just like a dozen fucking old naked women around her.
Yeah.
Just all stood around, and the guy like tripping balls going in there.
Yeah.
That scene was just
Yeah.
so good, and like his reactions, like one of the women comes down, and he like looks up. He's just like,
Yeah, because she starts going like,
Starts fucking singing.
and he's just like, what the fuck is going on? Then someone comes around, he's holding his butt cheeks,
yeah,
like,
just like
pushing
slamming
him in.
forcing him to like finish.
Yeah.
Honestly, thought there would be more sex in it. I
Really?
thought there'd be more
Yeah.
nudity and more sex than there actually was.
I kind of agree. I thought there'd be. I don't know if it was just preconceptions on what like a sort of what's the right sort of term, like a Scandinavian cult,
Free love.
like
kind of hippie-ish almost.
a hippier cult type thing. Like
We share
I was expecting
everything.
more like masks and nudity all round.
especially for like the intensity that they greet each other and talk to each other. It's all about love and like intense, you know,
Yeah.
connections with people.
But apparently people only bang when it's like astrologically correct, I guess.
Oh, when they've been blessed by the elders to bang.
Yeah.
Blessed by the elders, yeah, you want those, and the kid, the oracle,
Oh God, yeah.
who the child born of incest,
Purposefully bred from incest to be
Purposely-
unclouded,
yeah.
so he can be the vessel of what was it? Just the runes or the
So he wrote in the magic runes.
yeah.
And you said you wish there were more masks. He was wearing a mask, wasn't he? He wore a mask
Did he?
of someone's face.
Oh fuck yeah, you're right.
Oh. In that scene, so what's his name?
Josh.
Simon. Oh, Josh, yes, sorry.
Simon's a Londoner.
Yes.
When he goes to steal, he's taking photos of the book. He gets hit in the head. The oracle is wearing a dude's face.
Yeah.
Does he fuck him?
I don't think so.
He does have his pants off though.
Because he's naked
Yeah.
or pantless, but he gets hit in the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
Then you see his body like lying on the ground. Like it's just like sort of like the top half up from
Oh,
here.
he's shaking.
But then suddenly he's just like,
I think that's just.
Really?
I think that's just the death throes.
Oh yeah, because he's doing a weird like sound, like he's dead, but he's like screaming, just like
I
automatically
kind of
screaming.
thought, did the fucking
Or what's-
did the inbred kid?
That's just what happens when you get hit on the head so hard that you die.
It's also what happens when the inbred oracle from some Scandinavian cult fucks you.
He's got you there.
I think you've got a filthy mind.
I don't know. The film was setting me up for this. It sent me to a dark place at times.
Oh boy. But only for like a couple of hours every night and not totally dark.
That's right. That's right.
I was so very sorry to hear about what happened.
I'm sorry.
You haven't even mentioned the shocking start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is what gave my girlfriend a panic attack.
Okay, so
It begins with the main character. She gets a creepy email from her sister, and her sister's saying, "Mum and Dad are coming too. Everything's black.
Everything's black. It's like
And
the
then,
Fast Show.
oh yeah. And then we cut to firemen going into the parents' house. The car's in the garage, and it's got hose pipes duct taped to the exhaust.
But the pipes don't go into the windows of the car. That's really strange.
Which is what I was like, oh shit, this you're
we
figuring out
see
the
that there's
scene.
no one in the car.
Yeah, and I don't. Did the firemen not have masks on at that point?
So
Because
at
that
that
made me
stage,
think
because they were turning the cars off.
without masks.
And I was like, what's going on? Like, maybe they've already taken the body out.
Yeah. But they weren't bothered by the fumes, and then we see the pipes actually lead into the house.
And then they put their
They
masks
put the masks
on.
on. Pipes go up the stairs into the parents' room, and the sister has gassed the parents.
Ugh.
And then it pans across to the sister's room. She has the pipe duct taped to her mouth, vomit all down her chest,
Oh my
and
God.
she's just lying there dead. Camera pushes in, and you see the email, 400 emails from her sister in the background.
Like, yeah.
that image of
was
just like...
such like a harrowing...
And her face is a bit like in The Ring. Like her face is like her
Yeah, like-
eyes are open and like white.
One of her eyes is like gone white. The other one is like normal. Like,
Face is sort of like gone grey.
yeah, it's pretty...
And then that image keeps coming up throughout. Like I said, that's the jump scare we were talking about, was she gets a bad trip, she goes into the little shed, lights a candle, and behind her is her sister with the hose on her face. Her sister then appears in flashes all over the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's been through a lot at the start of the movie. Yeah. So, what she really needs is a holiday.
Yes.
And...
And she sort of invites herself, kind of.
Yeah.
She invites herself. The boyfriend kind of pity invites her because he wants it to be like a lad's holiday. They're going to go out. They're going to do loads of mushrooms.
He doesn't think that she will accept the invite, or maybe she will, but she won't actually follow through and come on the trip. The reason they're going is because they're anthropologists and they're doing their theses.
Yeah, that's how.
And they're researching cultures and rituals.
And he wanted
But they like drugs too.
Yeah, they want to go out and just do loads of...
And one of the friends is part of this commune that they're heading to because it's interesting.
Well, he's invited out. He knows them through anthropology, I guess.
Yeah.
Being all doing their PhDs or masters or
something like that.
I don't know. They're writing their theses.
Yeah.
Probably
So
PhDs.
I think it must be PhDs.
Given their age.
But the main girl and her boyfriend are on the rocks anyway. They're thinking that he wants to break up with her.
On the rocks, you say?
Ooh, very, very good.
We should just have hard cuts.
Man. And the whole movie's kind of a breakup movie, isn't it? Like that's, kind of it.
Yeah, it actually follows the very traditional breakup structure.
Like at the end, she's over it.
Couple, they're in trouble, they go somewhere to reconcile, they both meet other people.
Yeah.
He then gets stitched into a bear skin and burnt alive.
Very traditional
Classic.
story.
It's every rom-com I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, the story that when they go on their trip to Sweden, if you imagine they don't go to Sweden, they go to a friend's house party instead. And she wasn't originally going to be invited, but he invites her and goes there with his friends. They all take drugs, they get a bit drunk or whatever, and then she wanders into a bedroom where all the coats are stored, and he's banging some girl there.
Yeah.
She's shocked and horrified. He realizes that, he's fucked up. He runs into the street and gets hit by a car. And then she sees this happening and she's happy about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the same kind of journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess you'd need the moment of he's there and she can either call an ambulance or doesn't and would walk away and not...
Because he's paralysed.
Or just
Like
enjoy him in pain there on the ground, not reacting, It was pretty dark. It's like, yeah, she gets over it. She finds people who support her and actually seem to care for her in a way.
Also, she's the motherfucking May Queen.
That's true. She wins the dance contest.
Which, I don't know what happened during that dance contest.
She learnt Swedish.
I was like...
during the dance.
Yeah.
Absolutely enthralled in that scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there was, I don't know, like a moment where they, like, I don't know, cut over to the guy or something. I literally felt like... Holy shit, this looks so good. Yeah.
Just because they're constantly twirling around the maypole in all sorts of directions, changing directions, turning, doing different dance moves. It's very like constantly moving, the drum beat, boom, 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 the whole time.
And in this competition, all the girls are drugged.
Yeah, they're all given loads of hallucinogenics.
Yeah.
So just before we move past this, because I think we should talk about the drugs thing. They're celebrating whoever can dance the longest in this competition. No one is fucking celebrating the people that have to sit and play that same tune for what, like 6 hours? Like they are.
It was like 10 minutes.
They are.
It was like 10 minutes. That's all it was. They danced for 10 minutes, but they were so fucked up.
They weren't just bumping into each other and vomiting all over the place.
I still think they were playing for a long time, and those musicians, they deserve, a round of applause as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess there's an interesting point in that during a lot of the events in the movie, we've got no real idea of how much time has passed.
Well, they say it's like 9 days, right? Because there's only very short... Like, you see them go to bed, but they go to bed in the light and they wake up in the light because they're far enough north and it's in the height of summer, and so you are only getting like 4 hours of twilight every night.
And they're eating breakfast and it's incredibly bright. They're eating dinner, it's incredibly bright.
Yeah.
You don't know how long people are participating in various events. Like the dance, was that 10 minutes? Was it 6 hours?
I assumed it was going on for a long time.
What do you think?
It's like another world.
So you know the deal with the elders. So the friend's Swedish pal that invited them there, Pelle, he says, so there's like a life cycle, up to 18, it's like the spring of your life. You're learning, you're growing, and 18 to 36...
You go on a pilgrimage.
Yeah, you go on a pilgrimage. 36 to 54 is when you work.
That's, you work.
54 till 72 is when you're like an elder and you teach the rest of the people. And then come 72...
Well,
he says jokingly.
He just says like, he just goes up to that, and then the girl is like, what happens after 72? And he's just like, and laughs.
Yeah.
And they've just arrived. That's kind of funny.
Oh, the Swedish sense of humour.
But then,
it turns out every year the elders that are 72 years old kill themselves by hurling themselves off of a cliff. Yep. And this is based on a real thing that happens in Sweden.
No, it isn't.
Are you talking about
prehistoric times?
Oh my god!
So
wait, are you talking about Logan's Run? Because I didn't think that was set in
30.
Sweden.
That was when I hit.
Yeah,
30.
well, it's just based on it.
Yeah.
So it was a thing that happened in Sweden.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is that the anthropologist, the clever anthropologist, who was Josh, who was the one originally writing the thesis there, he was told the name of the event. Yes. He knew what it was, and he didn't tell the others. So he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And of course, then we see the elders. They're on the top of this big cliff, and you're like, "Oh God!"
Now this is another thing. I wish I hadn't seen the trailer because I knew they were going off. Like there's stuff like that. I knew they were going off. I knew at the end it was going to burn because it was the same for Hereditary. The trailer wants to do this big splashy thing where you see all this weird imagery, which means that I recognise that bit where they're going to wipe blood down the rock and where someone jumps off a cliff. So I'm like, oh fuck! So I know what's going to happen.
So I didn't remember that from the trailer.
No, I
but
didn't.
Them going and you seeing a cliff.
Yeah.
Like from
Chekhov's
seeing
cliff.
from seeing Hereditary was like someone's gonna fucking jump off that.
Yeah.
And they have a vertical shot, and there's like a big circular rock at the bottom of sort of Pride Rock. It's like a big white version of Pride Rock, and like
it may as well have had a little target.
I feel like I've seen a movie before. Pretty sure someone's gonna gonna jump
Long
off this
live
thing.
the king.
And then, oh my god! And then just the head pop.
Fuck.
Woof.
That head explosion on the first woman who goes off, and you just see her caved in face. It bounces
Bam,
off the
and
rock.
bouncing.
Whoa, that was one of those moments that just sucked all the air out of the cinema for me.
Yeah. Although I'd rather that than being the second person to jump off. Who I guess has to. They're supposed to fucking land.
He missed the rock.
Well, but the woman jumped and like.
She like dived flat.
Whereas he kind of steps off and falls.
I felt that was
vertically.
just a mistake
He
of
fucked
him.
up. He fucked up.
I thought that was kind of like planned or part of the ritual that like, oh, he has to suffer because then everyone like screams in time with him.
They're screaming
and then they've
the-
got the hammer ready.
Yeah, I think it's because people fuck up quite often doing that, and so they've got the mercy hammer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they scream at any point. Like at the end, when there's anytime anyone's in any pain, they're all in it together, so they all
To
scream.
share the suffering amongst everyone.
Yeah, you're not
everyone kind
alone.
of jumps in.
But yeah, I felt that he just forgot to, or didn't quite manage to lean forward.
I felt like that was like
Means to.
purposeful. Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to.
Oh no, it can't. It can't be.
So a lot of the time, people must overshoot as they do like a run up, and they go, and they just land on someone.
I guess that's something that you can't really practice.
Yeah, you get one shot.
Yeah.
Mum
And you are
spaghetti.
72 as well. You're not spring chicken.
Yeah, fuck me. But the after the fucking scene, the guy, he's tripping balls, he's naked, he runs out and is looking for somewhere to hide because he's just confused. He's tripping.
Yeah.
And
He sees the hen house.
he sees there's just the hen house, goes in there, and one of the other buddies.
Simon? I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, that was the London guy.
Yeah, okay.
Simon.
Is tied up, hanging from the ceiling.
And you're like, oh no, his friend is definitely dead with flowers in him.
He's got
That's
flowers in
weird.
his eyes, and he's been given the blood eagle.
Yeah.
And you can kind of, as were his lungs still moving?
Yes, he was
100%.
alive.
His lungs were pulled out of his back, up like wings, and they were still breathing. Because I thought, what happens is Christian, right? The character. When he goes under his face, I expected him to do the Seven thing, in Seven, where he finds the guy emaciated on the bed.
Yeah.
Like, I expected
Yeah.
that.
I was waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
And I'd say if it had have happened, I would have enjoyed that scene just as
Yeah,
much as
yeah.
if it didn't.
Yeah.
I would have been fine either way, but maybe I'm 51%, I would have wanted some reaction.
I just love the idea that you're sat there watching there, and then the guy goes, ah, and you go,
That's fucked up. I like that. I respect that. That's fun.
Tomorrow's a big day.
Is it scary?
What is it?
It has special properties.
I really like the scenes where there was sort of like distortions caused by the
Yeah.
So I was gonna
hallucinating.
say that, because I think they handled there was a lot of drug taking in the film, and I think they handled that really well. As from what I've heard from doing hallucinogenics, this is exactly it isn't you seeing bunny rabbits and
pink elephants dancing and
like when the first time and she's got her hand on the ground and you can see grass is kind of growing through it.
Yeah.
The tree looks like it's kind of just
The
a little
bark's
bit
moving,
melty,
yeah.
and always having that stuff was this is if you have done
what you've heard,
mushrooms, from
that's
what I've
what it-
heard,
from what I heard,
is exactly how it would normally
yeah,
go
I mean
down.
your vision distorted things moving even though they're still, as though like the wind's moving them.
Yeah.
And also like two images overlapping each other. So you may be looking at one thing and then there was something over there, and then in your head the two things
Right.
become this one thing.
things along that sort of line.
So her hand next to grass and her hand having grass coming through it, and but I really loved the crown and
Yeah.
noticing the flowers breathing.
Pulsating.
breathing
Yeah.
and stuff's going on, and
Because that's what I like, that normally a drug scene would be so over the top, so this is the focus right now, whereas the entire dinner scene towards the end, all the food is just going like this in the foreground.
Pulsating,
Just
breathing.
kind of a bit like melty, sort of.
yeah.
And like the trees in the landscape in the background are just moving.
And yeah, I thought that stuff looked great. Although I'm going to say, like, towards the end, I sort of, when it's mainly just her and the guy, when the final sort of horrific scenes are happening, I almost sort of like lost a little bit of empathy for them, or like couldn't, was like less worried about them, because the terrible things around them that are going on, they have no idea what's happening. They are so fucked up that they don't really see the horror, and so I was less like concerned for them. Does that sort of make sense? In other things, when the people jump off the cliff and you see them react like, what the fuck is going on? You're like, holy shit, like imagine being that person in that scenario.
How rude of them to interrupt this important ritual, because I completely empathised with the cultists.
Really?
Totally. So the visitors there, when they did things, when they interrupted things, I just like, that is so off. How dare they? What are they going up? They're ranting, they're raving, they're interrupting this incredibly important experience, and they're just outsiders. I was totally in with the cult.
Wow.
I was like...
I would say the exact opposite. When the London guy kicks off and he is like, what the fuck is going on? Starts like grabbing people, is shouting like, don't jump.
I was like, that is not how an Englishwoman behaves.
I feel like that is exactly 100% exactly what I would do. I really was just like, boom.
No,
that's what you
keep
do.
quiet. You'd tut about it. Maybe you would like tweet something about it.
You fucking shout at people, you do something. They're walking towards that guy with a hammer. I'd go over and I'd want to try and take that hammer off them. Just
the mercy hammer. The
mercy hammer.
Let him lie there with his legs snapped in half.
Get him to hospital. Like, you don't fucking
You
mercy.
can't get him to a hospital. You're in the middle of
you
nowhere.
You can try. They've got a little blue truck.
You're not even on the map.
It's a 35-minute there and back trip to the train station.
Is it, though?
Yeah, that's what they said.
That's what they said.
Oh, shit.
There wasn't even like a road leading there. They had to
There's a little
walk there along a
track
path.
nearby. I feel like you would...
I would freak out, but I feel like the way that they explained it was enough to make me believe they would stay. So they all freaked out. They wanted to go, but a few things happened where they, there wasn't a point where I was, in a horror film, why don't you jump out the window? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
There wasn't a point where I was like, what? You would just leave. You'd leave. I felt like at a certain point, okay, they're sort of adjusting to the fact that this is a tradition. It's weird, but it happened.
Yeah.
See, Tom agrees with me.
He's
down with the cult.
I
that
would not.
connection we share.
Oh my god, it is, because you did the hug. Fuck.
You're missing out, bud.
Unbelievable.
Welcome and happy Midsommar.
Okay, there was one minor little distraction that I had
Okay.
throughout this film, and I don't know if you'll agree with me or not.
Was it me sitting next to you
It was Simon making his little comments.
and yucking on to
Just the boyfriend,
Christian?
he looked a little bit like a sort of young Chris Pratt to me. And
Yes.
there'd be certain shots,
He looked like a lot of people.
but there was just certain times where I'm just like, boom, Chris Pratt.
No, 100% I had that as well.
And it just, like, whenever I think, it looks like Chris Pratt, and then suddenly I think, what if Star-Lord was here? Just for a few seconds, and then I'm back in the movie.
Yeah, it just
but
took you out slightly.
it was just his face, and if you put them side by side, they probably don't look at all
Do we know if
alike.
they're related or not? Because I
The
swear.
actor's name is Jeff Pratt. He was a dickhead. I hated him.
Oh, Christian.
Glad he died.
Although,
I just don't think he knew how to handle her
yeah.
Or anything.
or anything.
He was just a failure. It was a failure at his, his learning. He couldn't come up with an idea for a thesis.
I think it was, he's like the coward in the story because he should have got out the relationship. He should have stood up to her and gone on his own. He should have, done all these things, but didn't he? Gave in at every opportunity.
Yeah.
But he got laid at the end.
Yeah, he did.
Did get laid.
Yeah.
Brought in that outsider jizz.
Yeah.
Fuck me. That whole...
They're all like making... all doing that.
was so good.
All these naked women just... and then the woman singing.
Singing in your ear. I just love, like... she just starts singing. He's just like,
but still going.
and still like,
Okay, I'll go with it.
Like, what is going on right now? Like he just, I loved it.
How long have you two been together?
Just over 3.5 years.
4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
The end of the movie, which at very first was disappointed because I was like, it's the Wicker Man. The guy has now been selected by his girlfriend to be sacrificed. He's stitched up into the skin of a bear, which looked so dumb.
Yeah.
It looks like a really bad furry to me. And he's sat in the room, he's paralyzed, he can't speak, and he's just sat there like, I'm in a fucking bear.
Yeah.
And then they set fire to everything, and like, oh, the boyfriend dies. Initially was disappointed, but actually I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Now that I think about that scene, and I think it really helped that they have like 2 volunteers from the town. And they're like, hey,
There were 9 sacrifices in total. 4 of them are outsiders.
4 outsiders, 4 OGs, and then
2 of them had already been done. 2 of the OGs had already been like stuffed and filled with flowers and twigs or whatever.
yeah, they're the ones that jumped off.
No, because they burned them. They must have.
It was another 2.
Oh, okay.
planted them earlier in the year.
Oh shit. Okay, right. I was just
Let the tree grow through them.
Right. So yeah, just 2 other people.
That burnt alive. They had the yew tree stuff. They had some paste on his
Yeah,
stick.
fuck me. That shit didn't seem no good.
You won't feel anything.
But
Take of the yew tree and feel no pain.
but like that's when I started laughing through this scene.
yeah,
It was basically there until the end of the film.
It was just peanut butter.
Just laughing.
That's all it was.
Because there's the shot of them. They're both sat on like hay bales, and it's like showing all the different like bodies and stuff in the room.
Yeah.
And then these 2 guys, and like one just looks over, and they're like, "This is nice," and like the fire's slowly coming in. Then they start screaming. So I was already laughing at this stage. They start screaming. Then it cuts out. Everyone else starts screaming, and then the girlfriend is in her gigantic flower mountain dress costume, and she's screaming in the middle of the camera shot, walking along, and I don't know what it was. That fucking flower mountain, and just the guys looking at each other on fire, like it just tickled me. I don't know why. Like it just really.
I mean, it says a lot about you.
It really entertained me.
I spent the whole time just like, oh my god, couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was just so into this is crazy.
I was like, yes, the harvest will be good next year.
The harvest. So, final thoughts?
Are we're gonna rate it out of 5 flower crowns or something?
Ooh,
5. How many out of 5 who's?
Okay, so what is your rating for Midsommar?
Top rating, probably my film of the year. Or at least it'll be up there, I'm pretty sure. I thoroughly enjoyed it. In as much as you can enjoy it, it was horrific.
I agree. 100%. I really, really want to watch this movie again. And just so I can enjoy it more without hoping for a different ending or anything. But I would say it is my favourite film I've seen so far this year. Even beating The Meg, which I loved. So I'd give this 9 sacrifices out of 10.
Very good. Very good.
I'd say it's a 9 out of 10 from me as well, or 4.5. So that would be.
Perfect.
From me.
So this has been Movie Dungeon.
Yeah, that's.
Actually, do you want to sign off? I feel like you should sign off.
I can do. Well, that's it, guys. That's a weird way to do it. Hang on, let me start.
Is that really?
What was that?
Well, that's the way to do it. It's Movie Dungeon.
That's it. Well, that's Movie Dungeon, guys. If you got any recommendations for other movies to see, let us know. We'll come back, do it some more.
Well, we're forced to. We're in prison, right?
That's true.
Oh,
we can't
yeah.
do. All we can do is watch movies.
Oh, take me back to my cell. I'm done. I'm done. I go into solitary and I don't see you until the next
Oh my god.
Cool. See ya.
Bye.